Hello, namaste, and welcome everyone to 30 minutes to half moon pose, also known as Ardha Chandrasana. And for some, this is an easy pose that's often introduced in vinyasa and power yoga classes. That's easy for some people. But for a lot of people, it's still a challenging pose, particularly for those new to yoga. It does require balance, it requires strong side core strength. It also requires some inner adductor flexibility. And we'll be working on all of these things in the next 30 minutes. And another thing about half moon is that anatomically, it's a pose that is in the frontal plane. The frontal plane is our plane of motion, that is the side to side plane. And that's why something like half moon is so challenging, because most of us are used to being in our sagittal plane or the forward and back plane. So we run and we bike and we are on our computers and we drive, and we're used to being in this forward and back plane. But then in so many yoga poses, we're in the frontal plane, and we have to gain some comfortability with being in our body in this way. So let's begin by coming onto our backs first. And you can lie down and take a few moments to just take a few deep breaths and feel into your body, into your breath. Feel into the earth. Feel the air across your skin. And on your next inhale, interlace the fingers and reach the arms up above the head, palms towards the sky, and stretch from the toes to the hands. And then reach a little bit to the right and stretch open the left side of your body. And come back to center and reach to the left, stretching open the right side. Inhale back to center, and on your exhale, hug your right knee into your chest. Give the knee a nice little tug. So the first thing we'll find is our hamstring flexibility. Taking your left hand to your left thigh, take your right first two fingers and grab your right big toe and extend your right leg out in front of you. And if your leg doesn't go straight, you're going to need a strap to strap around your foot. If you don't have a yoga strap, a belt works just as well. Even scarves or any sort of band you may have is going to help you in this pose. So right now we're primarily stretching the hamstrings, and that'll decide how deep we can go into what is known as hip flexion. And then notice what changes for your body as you draw your right leg out to the right. And only go as so far as when you can still keep your left hip on the ground. So don't let the left hip come off just to get the right foot to the mat. Notice at what point the left hip starts to float off and then stay there. And notice that stretch move further along the inside of the thigh in what we kind of call our adductors. And it's this position which very much looks similar to our half moon pose. And we'll continue to explore positions like this in different ways in our sequence today. And bring the right leg back to center. And hug right knee into your chest. And switch. Extend the right leg out. And hug the left knee into your chest. Other side, first two fingers, grab your big toe. Big toe grabs your fingers right back. Extend the leg. If you used a strap on the other side, you'll most likely use a strap on this side as well. First, just tune into your hamstring flexibility. Can we straighten our left leg. And then check in with your adductor flexibility. So take your left leg all the way out to the left. Now I have a wall here, so I can't take the leg out any further. But this is the only pose that will matter right now. So just take your left leg all the way out to the left and just try to keep your right hip grounded as much as possible here. And wherever you are, inhale back to center. And exhale, hug your left knee into your chest. And hug both knees into your chest. And then grab behind your knees and rock forward and back up to a seated position. Once you're up, cross the ankles and come forward into a tabletop position. So another thing I want to explore is what is known as stacking your hips. So to do that, I want you to extend your right leg out behind you and actually bend your right leg. This will help us feel the stacking of the hips more easily. And then what I want you to do is kind of like a dog at the fire hydrant. You're going to take your right hip and roll it open and stack it on top of the left. Notice what muscle groups are engaging in order to make that happen. And do that about 5 times. So lower the right hip, so even the right hip goes lower than the left. And then inhale, open up your hips to the right. Exhale, lower down. And inhale up. So the glutes are really working here. Feel into the poses, or feel into the position the body is going in here. And this will really help us later on as we come in to our half moon. And let the right find the mat. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So extend the left leg out, bend your left leg, and then roll the left hip open. Stack as high as you can, the left hip on top of the right, and then practice that movement a few times. So lower the left hip and open up. Lower, exhale, and inhale, open. Exhale, lower, and inhale, open. Just a couple more. And since we are focused in our frontal plane today, rather than doing cat-cows, we'll do side-to-side cat-cows. So let the left knee find the mat. And rather than arching around the spine, we'll do side bends. So look over your right shoulder and squeeze your right shoulder towards your right hip like you want the two to touch, kind of making a C-shaped curve in your spine. And do the other side. So inhale back to center and exhale, looking over your left shoulder. And find your flow. So inhale back to center. Exhale, squeeze right shoulder towards right hip. Inhale back to center. And exhale, left shoulder to left hip. Inhale. Exhale. And really start to feel those obliques working here to squeeze the body into what's known as lateral flexion. And also notice the plane of motion that you're in. So the frontal plane is sometimes called the bagel plane, because if you imagine slicing a bagel down the middle, that is the plane of motion that we are focused on today. And then return to a neutral spine, and let's find that same hip exercise we just did, but with the legs straight. So extend the right leg out behind you. Keep the leg straight, and then open up the right leg. And exhale, lower down. And do that 5 more times. Inhale, right hip lowers. Now, when the right toes are flexed, they face to the side. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last inhale. Last exhale, lower down. Let the right knee find the mat. Let's do the other side. Inhale, extend the left leg out behind. And then roll the left hip open, stacking as much as we can. Exhale, lower down. And find your flow. Inhale, open. Exhale, down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale, left hip rolls open. And exhale, left knee finds the mat. Nice job. From here, tuck your toes, take your hips high to the sky for downward facing dog. And bring some movement to your dog, just getting into the nooks and crannies, feeling into your body, seeing what's tight, what's weak, what might need some attention and care and opening today. And then, from this downward dog, take your right leg up high to the sky for a three-legged dog, holding here for a few breaths, squaring the hips to the mat so the right hip is lowering down. And then on your exhale, take the knee to your nose as you shift forward, shoulders over the wrist, and hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then simply lower your right shin down to the mat. And then from here, let your left heel spiral down and reach your left arm up towards the sky. And first, just find stacking here. So left shoulder is stacked over the right shoulder, left hip is stacked over the left. And notice how we really use that back foot for important balance here. And let's turn this into a side bend. Take the left arm up and over the head and tilt left ribs up towards the sky. Nice. Take a few deep breaths. And from here, we will return to three-legged dog. So look down, let your left hand find the mat, let the left heel come up, and extend your right leg up towards the sky once again. And right foot finds the mat, downward facing dog. Other side, left leg high to the sky, holding here for a few breaths. And on your next exhale, take the left knee to your nose, rounding the spine, holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left shin finds the mat. Right heel spirals down. Right arm comes up towards the sky. Nice job. And like we did before, right arm comes up and over the head. You can look down, you could look up, whatever works for you. Just feel the stability created by the back foot and feel how we're in, again, what we call the frontal plane. And from here, three-legged dog, so right hand finds the mat, right heel comes up, left leg reaches up high to the sky. And left foot finds the mat, downward facing dog. From downward dog, walk your hands towards your feet. Once you're there, bend the knees, grab the elbows, and relax here. Find your breath. All right. So we'll combine the elements that we just learned and continue to stack the hips, this time in what's kind of called a scorpion dog, but very similar to what we just did in a tabletop. So to start, walk your hands all the way back out. And this time, take the right leg up, but then bend the right leg. And like we did in tabletop, roll the right hip open to stack it on of the left. And do that 5 times. So exhale, right hip lowers. Inhale, right hip opens. Exhale, we lower. Inhale, we open. Exhale, lower. Inhale, open. Exhale, lower. And last, inhale, and let's open. So roll the right hip and actually stay here for breath. Reach that knee as high as you can towards the sky. And then inhale, straighten right leg like we did before. Exhale, knee to your nose like we did before. Lower the right shin to the mat like before. Left heel spirals down. Left arm comes up towards the sky. This time, I want you to look down and take your right hand a little bit further out and then shift forward and actually bring your right shoulder over your right hand and see if you can let your left leg come off of the ground. All right, if the balance is a little shaky, then the left toes can easily find the mat. No worries. All right, this is our prep for half moon. Should feel very similar to the pose itself. From here, downward dog. Left toes find the mat. Left hand finds the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. All right, let's find that on the other side. So left leg high to the sky. And left leg bends. Roll the left hip open, stacking it on top of the right. And exhale, lower. Square the hips to the ground. Inhale, open. Square the hips to the side. Keep it going. You got this. Exhale, lower. Inhale, open. Exhale, lower. Inhale, open. Last exhale, lower. And last inhale, opening up the leg. Staying here, reaching the knee up, pressing through the hands, rolling, open, open, open your hip. All right, from here, inhale, straighten your left leg. Exhale, bring the left knee to your nose. Lower the left shin to the mat. Right heel comes down, right arm comes up. All right, and like we just did on the other side, look down. Take your left hand a little further out. Draw your left shoulder over your left wrist. And then look down for balance. Right arm comes up, right leg comes off the ground. Again, feel free to use the right toes for balance if it's a little shaky. All right, from here, looking down, right hand finds the mat, right toes find the mat, downward facing dog. Nice job. From here, walk your feet forward, coming into the forward fold at the top of your mat. Once you're there, bend the knees, tuck the tailbone, and roll up one vertebra at a time. When you get to the top, take your hands to your heart and take a few deep breaths. Just checking the time. Okay. All right. And we'll move on to our next flow with some standing poses here. On your inhale, take the arms up. On your exhale, reach forward into your forward fold. Inhale to a half lift. And exhale, fold. Take the right foot to the back of your mat. Bend the left knee over. Plant your right hand on the ground and inhale the left arm up towards the sky. From here, exhale, left hand down. Let your right heel spiral down 90 degrees and reach your right arm forward, up, and back to come into your warrior two. And I want you to really feel the spreading open of the body here. So actually take your left hand to your inner left thigh, take your right hand to your right hip bone, and then open up the hips even further. Really feel the back glutes working in order to move the legs in this way. Then keep that muscle engagement, drawing the left knee out, drawing the right hip back as you return the arms out wide. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Exhale, reach forward. And inhale, triangle pose. All right, notice all these poses in the frontal plane, getting us used to having our arms and legs spread, getting us used to moving side to side. And on your next inhale, come back up. On your exhale, bend your left leg, let your left elbow find your knee, and then reach your right arm down, forward, and up to come into side angle pose. You can look straight, you can look down, you can look up, totally up to you. And on your next inhale, come on up, warrior two. On your exhale, windmill your hands to the top of your mat and step forward, forward fold. And let's do the exact same flow on the other side. Left leg to the back of your mat. Right knee bends over the right ankle. Left palm plants and inhale, right arm towards the sky, looking up at your right fingertips. Feel free to lower the hips, but reach the left thigh to the sky. Left heel reaches back. And make sure the right knee doesn't splay out, but hug the right knee in to your left elbow. From here, looking down, right hand finds the mat. Left heel spirals down 90 degrees and windmill the arms. Warrior two pose, gazing over your right fingertips. Okay. Once again, feel the spreading open of the hips. Right hand, inner right thigh. Left hand, left hip. And draw the legs open. Then take the arms out wide. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Exhale, reach forward. And inhale, triangle pose. Your right hand can float. It can grab the leg. Maybe it is able to find the ground. Deep breaths. Pressing into the feet. Inhale, back up. Exhale, right knee bends, right elbow finds the knee, and left arm down, forward, and up. Extending for your side angle pose. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, hands top of the mat, and step forward, forward fold. On your inhale, reach the arms forward and up, high to the sky. And on your exhale, hands to heart. Now, half moon is a balance pose. So let's just do a few fun little balance exercises. We will be balancing on our feet, so we have to, or on one foot, I should say. So we have to have a nice solid foundation. And I want us to just explore balancing on one foot and going side to side. So take your arms out wide. And then imagining like you're going to turn yourself into kind of a big starfish as you lean to one direction. So as you start to lean to the right, shift all your weight into that right foot and see if you can let your left foot just come out to the side. Like this giant floating starfish. Nice. And then come back to center. Release the hands. Let's try the other side. Arms out wide. Start to lean to the left until the weight comes completely into your left foot and the right foot comes off of the ground. Very nice. And inhale back to center and exhale. Return the hands to your heart. Now that's almost a half moon, but we actually need the external rotation of one foot. So let's explore that. Turn your right toes out to the side, and then take your arms out wide, and then lean to the right. Once your weight comes into your foot, feel the left foot come off of the ground. And inhale back to center. Right toes turn in, left toes turn out. Exhale, lean to the left until right foot comes off of the ground. Okay, so that we're like halfway there. Let the right foot find the mat. Left toes turn in. Return the hands to the heart. All right, let's do a few more stretches and strengthening exercises, and then we'll have a go at our half moon. Standing at the top of your mat, inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. And like we did before, take the right foot to the back of your mat, let your right heel spiral down, and windmill the arms to a warrior two. But this time, straighten your left leg, turn the left toes in, and on your exhale, fold forward with your arms out wide. And then see if you can get your first two fingers to grab your big toe and pull yourself down. Elbows out wide. Head, top of the head reaching down to the ground. Feel those adductors, those inner thigh muscles stretch and lengthen here. Holding here, deep breaths for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the toes, bend the knees, roll yourself up to standing. From here, turn your heels in, turn your toes out. Inhale the arms out and up. And exhale, bend the knees, elbows out wide for our goddess stance. Like we did in Warrior 2, let's feel that spreading open of the hips. This time, take your fingertips to the inside of both thighs and actively sink the tailbone down as you press open the legs. So pressing out the legs. Feel those abductors working as you take your arms back out wide. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, straighten the legs. Turn your left toes fully out, right toes in. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, warrior 2, and this time proud warrior, sometimes called crescent warrior, reaching the left arm up towards the sky as the right hand slides down the back leg. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, hands top of the mat and step forward, forward fold. Same thing, other side. Left leg to the back of your mat, left heel down, windmill the arms, warrior 2. From here, straighten the right leg, turn the right toes in, and fold forward. Grabbing your big toes once again, pulling yourself down, holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bending the knees, rolling yourself all the way back up to standing. Heel in, toes out. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, warrior, goddess stance. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, straightening. Left toes turn in, right toes turn out. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, warrior 2. This time, right palm turns up, right palm reaches up as the left hand slides down your left leg. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And inhale, warrior 2. And exhale, hands top of the mat and step forward into your forward fold. Now, before we come, so take your block, if you have one, right out in front of you. And then inhale, arms forward and arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Find your breath. So a wonderful entry into half moon pose is triangle pose. So very simply, let's leave our block where it is. Just bend the knees and step the right foot back. Now, most of the time in triangle pose, you're looking for that equilateral triangle. So the distance between my heels is the length of my legs. So taller people have a wider stance, shorter people have a shorter stance. From here, take your arms out wide. Reach your left arm forward and tilt the body for triangle pose. Now you might remember that transition from earlier when we were on our knees, and it's very similar. To come into half moon, I bend my left leg, my left hand reaches for my block, and I slide the back foot in. Once I feel an appropriate amount of balance and stability, I can lift my right leg off of the ground. So having a block is a wonderful tool as you start out in this pose. And then when I come up, I'm going to take my block with me because we're actually going to do it on the other side. So let your right foot find the mat and slowly come on up. Let's try the other side. So left toes turn in, right toes turn out. And I'll show you another way to get into it with your block is we'll carry it with us. So from here, take the arms out wide. Reach forward with the right arm and tilt the body into triangle pose. Now I have my block, so I'm going to take my block with me. I'm going to look down, bend the right leg, take the right arm forward with the block, slide the back foot in, and lift off. So like everything we've been practicing, really focus on rolling that left hip open. Too many people sag in the back leg and the hip, but we want to stack the left hip as much as we can on top of the right, and the left arm can come up. All right, and wherever you are, bend the standing leg, let the left foot find the mat, turn the right toes in, and come to standing. Okay. So we'll do it one more time, and this time I'll keep my right hand or left hand on the hip to encourage that rolling open. And you can use a block or not use a block, but we'll do one more attempt at our half moon. So with a wide-legged stance, take your left toes out, take your right hand to your right hip. Reach the left arm forward and tilt the body. And notice if the right shoulder is drawing in. It's a good indicator if your right hip is drawing in. So be sure to draw the right hip out. From here, bend your left leg. Left hand reaches forward, perhaps with your block. And then I use my right hand to encourage my right hip to open. If you have the balance, maybe your left hand can also float off the ground. Other side, right foot finds the mat, I come on up. Left toes turn in, right toes turn out. Left hand comes to my left hip this time, and my right arm extends forward. I reach forward, I lower the right hand, I look down, I bend the right leg, my right hand reaches forward, finds the ground as I float off. And again, I stack the hips, stack the shoulders, and maybe if I have the balance, I can float my right hand. And wherever you are, left foot finds the mat, turn the right toes in, come all the way to standing, take your hands to your heart, and hop your feet in. Take a few deep breaths. Well done. You made it to the end. So hopefully, with some of those early preparatory poses, you recognize what needs to happen in your body for you to get to half moon. If you didn't get it today, don't worry. Continue to do this sequence again and again, once a week, and eventually the pose will become quite comfortable. If there's any other poses that you want to see a 30-minute video to, comment below. And if you want to see Revolved Half Moon, that's a video that I could also make if you guys want. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice. Namaste.